Welcome, everyone, to what might be the world's first Apple Vision Pro Persona podcast. How you doing?
Oh, this is weird.
Honestly, I've been laughing. Brad's been eating like spaghetti, walking around doing dishes, and it's bizarre to watch how the headset reacts to what he's doing. He sometimes goes completely invisible and see-through. And there's Mash, who I actually think out of all the personas I've seen, looks pretty Mash-like.
Not bad. It's got my hat and everything. It's kind of cool. I like it. My wife thinks it's super freaky though. She's like really weirded out.
It is. It's weird. I remember when I had I did a little clip I posted on Twitter chatting to Mike, and it was just bizarre. Like, I talk to Mike probably every day on Discord, or obviously we see each other a lot. And it started turning into him the longer we spoke. But originally in the beginning, I was just like, man, this is bizarre. But another thing we said right at the beginning, though, it's still really amazing. Like,
yeah,
what is happening right now is good. Like, Brett, did you, obviously when you scanned yourself, you had cat ears on?
Yeah. And it worked, as you can plainly tell.
But it looks like your hair is the cat ears.
Yes. So that I had a feeling that, I mean, I didn't try it, but I had a feeling after seeing your hat, though, maybe I could use like different color cat ears, because I specifically got cat ears that were matching the same color of my hair to see if like that would totally fool it, and it kind of did. But now I kind of want to do.
Oh, just a heads up, no pun intended. But Joy Rain and Jay Dunn did a new episode of their spatial computing podcast with their personas the other day, I think on Saturday. So we might be the second, maybe.
Oh, no. Damn.
My persona looks pretty real. What do you think?
Apparently Mash looks like Joe Rogan.
Well, I look like Joe Rogan in real life, so.
Yeah, he's shredded like Joe Rogan. That's
Hell yeah. You know what's awesome though? You know what's, because I wasn't going to do this. Like literally right before the podcast started, I came on as just me sitting here, and Brad came in, and GT's like, "Dude, you got to go do it." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "There's no way I can get it done in time." This was literally 4 minutes before the show started, and Brad's like, "You can get it done easy, quick." And literally, I ran downstairs, got my power cord, threw my headset on, and literally my first time logging into Zoom. This took, I don't know, what did it take, guys? 5 minutes? 6 minutes?
Yeah,
it was pretty fast.
The only thing holding you back was the password. Like, you'd have been in even quicker than that, I think. Right, you switched windows. It's all right. I'll move Mash back over now. I don't know what happened there. Brad disappeared and come back again. There we go. Nice. So, thank you everyone for joining us. I don't even want to talk about. No, you're right, man. There's no episode numbers in this season. I've given up with that for this thing. Welcome to the VR CruCast. My name's GT for Gamertag VR. Thank you for joining us. We also have Skiva from the Between Realities podcast, which is starting their new season. So how you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. Yeah, we started on Friday, and we have our first guest coming on this Friday. And it's been fun, man. It's going to be a great season. We're super stoked to get back into it. VR is popping off right now with all of the Apple stuff, and so it's good. Good times.
Yeah, dude, the Apple thing is it's everywhere, isn't it? It
really is. It's completely taken over my Twitter feed, and my YouTube feed, everything. It's all Apple Vision Pro. It's insane. And it's like, it's taken over with some of the most ridiculous things. People are doing crazy things in this, like driving their Teslas, like
God, did you see that?
windows, and like, yeah.
You got pulled over, right? You got pulled over by the cops.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, they got arrested. They got arrested.
There was 2 videos. The original video was just him in the car, and then the second video was him. The cops pulled him over.
Oh, man.
It's so dangerous. I know Teslas are pretty safe in their self-driving to a certain degree, but that is so dangerous.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it. Yeah.
Oh God.
With Tesla, with the self-drive and everything.
Did you see Casey's video where he was on the longboard, the electric longboard? That was so good. That is a great video.
Good one.
That was a great video. So yeah, okay, more guests, just in case, especially for the audio listeners. We've got Sadlius Bradley in his Apple Vision Pro using Apple's Persona technology. How you doing, man?
Honestly, this has probably been like one of my best weekends I've ever had in this industry. I've been having so much fun. It just feels good.
That's so cool to hear.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased you feel like that. Next up, we have got Eric Mash from Q2C VR Gamer. How you doing, sir?
There it is. Good.
He's got his
Doing
thumbs
good.
up. He's also using Apple's Persona, by the way. I do apologize. We've actually got a picture of him in real life and him in his Apple Persona. So yeah, you can see basically what he's doing and stuff. So yeah,
It was pretty cool, man. This the Apple Persona, I had to do it. I don't know, Brett, how many times did you do it? The first time I did it, I'm like, that looks friggin' awful. I am not staying with that Persona. And I had to shoot it like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. And then I was like, I'm going to shoot it with my hat on because I always wear my hat. So I prefer to have my Persona wear my hat. And then I tried like different color hats. And like I had like a black one that didn't show up as well. And then this one ended up being the one that kind of showed up the best. But I gotta say, I
I
mean,
think it looks.
maybe my eyes look a little
I,
freaky. Somebody said I look creepy, but I think my eyes look a little freaky. But I mean, everything else is pretty good. It's kind of even got like my facial hair is done pretty well, I think. And it like picks up everything.
is that a default background you guys have chosen, or is there multiple, or is there like?
I have no idea.
it just auto chooses. You can't change it yet. I hope they let you like take a screenshot with your headset to like set your background at some point. That would be so freaking sick. Oh my god, I
That
love
would
that.
be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean backgrounds are a massive
it-
thing in these sort of chats, aren't they? You know, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
it took me a
everyone
few times
Impact.
as well to get my scan to an acceptable quality, but it was mostly because like sometimes one of my ears wouldn't get scanned, so I'm like, oh, gotta do it again. So
okay, so let's just dive into it, and because personally, I think this has been for me. Like, I'm going to be trying it Friday. I feel extremely gutted that I missed out. I think on one of the biggest things to ever happen in the history of virtual reality. That's how it feels to me now.
yeah.
Looking on this now, I am like, you should have been part of this. Unfortunately, I couldn't be in that way. As I said, I'm hoping to try it and stuff. Or I am trying it Friday. But yeah, talk to me about it, boys. Like, what was it like? The whole thing, the launch day, seeing people for the first time go into a store where there's actually like VR headsets they can just try, like just
So yeah, I mean, I'll go first. I had a really cool experience. So I went and bought mine day of launch. I pre-ordered and I did it when I pre-ordered in the store. I couldn't get it right away, so my date got pushed back because literally within minutes, a lot of them sold out. So my date got pushed back to February 3rd on one order, and on the other order, which I needed for a developer, to like March 20 or to like March 8th. So they told me they were going to have some in store the day of launch that you couldn't set aside. They were like first come, first serve. Whoever showed up that day, you could get one in store. So I'm like, okay, leave the orders the way they are. I'll just show up that morning, early, and I'll try and get one in store so I can get one right away. That's what I did. It was like in a little mini mall that you had to go inside to get into the Apple store. The whole entire mall was still closed because it doesn't open until 10. Apple opened at 8 a.m. that day. They had huge lines roped off. They had security there, letting people in just to get to the Apple store. And by the time I got in there, it opened at 8 o'clock. I was in there at 8:05. There was already 20 people in the store, nobody looking at anything else besides the Apple Vision Pros. They were all doing demos or talking to some of the geniuses there. That's what they call them. To get information or whatever, or wait their turn to do demos. And then one of the coolest things I saw there was a gentleman. I put it on Twitter if you guys want to see the video on my Twitter feed. He had to be 85 years old. He was in his 80s for sure, in a wheelchair with the Vision Pro on, doing a demo, pinching and pulling and doing everything he has to do to move the screens around, and just grinning from ear to ear. Like I had to keep going over what I had to keep leaving my rep because he was setting me up with my 2 pros. I had to keep leaving him because I had to go over and watch this older gentleman sit there and enjoy this piece of technology and just grin from ear to ear. And like just thinking about what he could do, somebody who's that age, locked in a wheelchair maybe, and can't go and do the things that he wants to do,
yeah.
and then to see him do those things was one of the coolest things I I mean, the whole day and the whole process was just amazing. The way they clap for people as they buy them, and like they always put a big production on. But that guy in the wheelchair will always be my memory of the Apple Vision Pro.
Bro, that is a beautiful story. I absolutely love that. That is
Yeah.
one of my favorite things I've heard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
is
was
fantastic.
amazing.
Brad, did you sneeze a minute ago?
Yeah, that was me sneezing.
Did anyone else see Brad sneeze?
What did it look like?
Yeah, Stefan said it. I looked at you and I thought he looks like he's going to sneeze, and then you just sort of vanished a little bit, and your eyes shut. That was pretty bizarre. Thank you ever so much to the donations. Quickly, sorry man, just quickly, I want to get his out. Samson, thank you for the $5 donation. He's put, let's go. Love the VR fam. Happy Monday to you all. Happy Monday to you, sir. Thank you for being here as always. Paradise gave with the £2 donation, saying Eric looks like a Joe Rogan deep fake. He really does. And orders Joe Rogan look like Eric. And then Bluebell with the $10 donation. Love the VR CruCast. You need to get Beardo Benjo back on here. Yeah, he's always the door's always open for Ben. Like he just does his own thing, you know. But he's always welcome. I'm sure if he ever feels the need to have something to say, he'll be on here to say it. So yeah, thank you everyone for being with us today. There's 200 of you here, so I appreciate that. And I interrupted Brad, and I do apologize.
It's okay. I just wanted to say two things about the Persona things. Like, first of all, even if it's like kind of creepy in Gen 1 to some people, the eye and face tracking that this headset can do is like phenomenal. Like, it still shocks me how much it can track. Like, it can track more than the Quest Pro even, which was always like kind of like the best you can get. Because the Quest Pro can track eyebrows, it can track a lot of different things. And they just added tongue tracking to Quest Pro, but the only thing it can track is like just sticking out your tongue like this.
Yeah.
And then back in. Whereas this thing like shows like your teeth.
Oh, it's so
like,
good.
Your tongue.
It's so good.
Yeah, and like you can curl your tongue.
What?
Like it's insane. Like it has so much range of motion. Like, oh my gosh. Another thing I was thinking about, like,
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's like for me, you can see the emotion. That's the important part. I can see your emotions, and that's regardless of how maybe soft it looks and not quite perfect. That's a very important part of this.
Absolutely. Like eye and face tracking is just like, again, it shocks me that Apple didn't even like market it. They were just like, you have a Persona and that's it. But like all the systems that make the Persona work are just like so extreme that it's like Apple thinks that's the baseline for how it should be, so they don't even want to mention it. And there's so many little things like that in this hardware and software that's just like that. Another thing about the Persona thing, like you guys were talking about earlier, like deep fakes and like how it could be like possible to like one day fool people into believing you're a certain person. On the good side of it, imagine you being able to like save these versions of your youth like forever, right? Like being able to like save that model, and then like 20 years when you're all old and wrinkly, you can just re-become the young person that you wish you were in those later years.
Seriously.
Yeah.
This is how you live forever. This is how it starts. Probably think about it. If they ever figure out how to download your consciousness into a computer, this is it. This is you live like this forever. I mean, it's crazy to think that's an outlandish statement, right? But is it?
No,
it
is not.
It's pretty crazy because it's like the head's in a fishbowl thing, like just. I don't know.
It's coming, dude.
I don't know if I want to be remembered that way. But I know what you're saying though. Do you know, I never even thought of that, Brad. That's pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy.
Imagine this tech like 10 years from now, right? It's probably going to look phenomenal. Even 20 years from now, you'll definitely be able to save different versions of yourself, different ages. I love that. I want to say that I want to thank Paradise Decay for the $2 super chat too, saying Brad needs to scan Peanut's face. Come on, have you tried that yet, Brad?
Oh, Brad, yeah.
I haven't tried it. Oh God, I'm gonna have to hold that head. Just
so could you technically like put a picture of someone else's face on your face to make this happen, or would it not work that well because it has to be like 3D, you know, to know?
Yeah, you have to so the scan, if you haven't seen it, it makes you do this, and then it
Mhm.
makes you do a series of expressions to create this. So having like a blank picture that you, unless you like maybe cut holes in it to make the expressions for him, yeah, I don't think that's going to be as easy as people think.
Okay,
Well,
So
start training your dog now. You got to train your dog to stick their tongue out,
You
train your
close
dog
their
to
eyes.
smile, to close your mouth, to blink.
there you go. That's from Mahina as well. Thank you for the donation of 129 sec. She puts, so what happens if you scanned your dog? Has anyone tried it? So yeah, there's it sounds like it could work. It should work.
Yeah.
So
gonna do it.
people are going to try, man. People are going to scan all kinds of things as themselves. I can't wait to see that.
So I guess I've got a number of questions, things that I think are important. So first of all, let's talk about the weight distribution thing. That was one of the things that kept coming up.
Yeah.
Obviously from VR users like Mike and others, they're like, this is just a normal feeling headset. It's not overly heavy.
Yeah.
Is that like, how do you guys feel about this? And did you experiment with the 2 straps? Blah, blah, blah.
I did. As you can see in the picture, I'm wearing the normal strap that's with it. Because to be honest with you, the best of both worlds is if Apple had made the 2 head straps and put them together. Because I like the feeling of this head strap, the way the back is, but I want the overhead strap of the other strap. But the other strap to me is too thin. It's not comfortable enough. So if they had put those 2 together, I think that would be great. But to get to the overall weight of it, I was worried before I got it because all the early reviews were from people saying how heavy it was, and I'm like, oh no, this thing is going to be super
Well,
heavy.
yeah, exactly.
And
Like
I
it
got-
sounds like over half a kilo was going to be hanging
Yeah.
off exactly the front of your face because that back strap's got no weight. It's just material. Yeah.
And then I got it and I tried it out and I lifted and I took it out of that cradle for the first time, like on video, and I was like shocked. I'm like, this is not that heavy. Like I was assuming the way
Yeah.
everybody was talking, it was going to be super heavy. Now it is front heavy, but the overall headset itself, it feels normal to me. It feels like I'm wearing the Quest Pro.
Yeah.
I would say the Quest 3 feels a little bit lighter, maybe because I don't know, maybe because it's the front isn't as
Long.
heavy, but I don't know. For some reason, it feels like I'm wearing a Quest Pro or a Valve Index. It feels exactly the same to me. Like, I wish I had a different head strap for sure. But to me, the overall weight, I think it's because most of those reviewers are not people that are normally used to wearing headsets. And that's why they're like, oh, it's super heavy. Because if you don't normally wear a headset, any headset's going to feel heavy to you because you're not used to it. But we're all used to it. Brad, you had to have this kind of the same reaction, I would assume.
Yeah, like absolutely. It's just like if you ever use a headset for more than an hour, it's just gonna feel like another headset. Yeah, I had to add. I'm with you. I didn't like the dual loop band that has the top strap. Ironically, it did not cradle the back of my head like at all. What I ended up doing is actually getting using the standard 1 knit band, and then I grabbed the strap that attaches to my big screen beyond that comes in that box, and I just put it on this, and it like actually allowed me to use this for hours and hours and hours. It's still not perfect. I also saw on Reddit someone bought an extra one of the 1 knit band that you put on the back of your head, and they're using an extra one of those as the top strap too. And I'm going to try that because it sounds perfect because you'll be able to adjust 2 different ways with the little dial on it. So yeah, it's a VR headset.
I grabbed this thing off of so this was on my Quest Pro. This is made by Studio, I don't know, Creative VR. I don't
Studio
know.
Form?
Yeah,
Oh.
Studio Form. That's it. Creative VR. It's basically just a Velcro thick strap. It's nice. And I tried it on the Vision Pro and it works perfect. It goes right over this strap on the side. And this is probably what I'm going to go to. My only issue is the part here is a little thick and it starts to get close to covering up the speakers. So I think I'm just going to trim this down so where it's not so thick at this part, so where it's like only like that thick maybe.
Yeah.
And then I think it'll be perfect because this is what I wore on my Quest Pro forever when I had my Quest Pro, and it was super comfortable because the Quest Pro did the same thing to me. It hurt me on the top of my forehead. And I think and I tried it like when I did my unboxing, and this worked, I think, really well. So
Do you know what you've just made me realize, Eric, is that you guys were obviously in pass through at the same time of doing this.
yeah, oh yeah.
Obviously, like you can see your whole world, and that's kind of a thing like maybe not everyone realizes. Like you're not just looking at this Zoom call, you're seeing, you're watching this Zoom call on your computers, I'm assuming. Like,
No, I'm using directly on the headset everything.
but have you
No
got
computers
different? Have you got
attached.
different windows and stuff, or like what? So what are you seeing, Brad? Like,
So so you know the little dial on the top. I always have my desk is completely cleared off. I pretty much toss my monitor to the side. Don't need it right now. I have a keyboard and Magic Trackpad, and that's it. And then for my screens with the dial, I like to have half of my environment, like this whole wall that I'm facing, become one of the like default environments, usually the one with the big lake. And then the rest of the side and behind me is the pass through. And the screens I usually have are just like, God, I have tons of screens open. I got ADHD moments. Discord, I got Apple Music, I got the YouTube chat over here on my right. I have my mail app up above the Zoom app, which is straight in the middle here. I have Twitter on the left. I have messages on the left, and I have DaVinci Resolve, which is a the iPad version, and it
No
works also
way.
very well. You can
how
do,
would-
and it exports super fast, super fast too. If you
And it
edit a
runs
video
native
on
your
there, it's sick.
headset? DaVinci?
Native on the
Oh, sick.
it's sick. It's sick. It's actually it feels like I was so worried them marketing this thing as like a spatial computer or whatever, and like I went for the 1 TB because I was like, well, if it's a computer, I want to see if it is a computer, and so far it's been acting like an actual computer, which has made me so happy. So yeah.
dude,
Yeah, I'm similar. Like I have a YouTube screen over here. I've got the Zoom call blown up, by the way. I blew it up. So right now, like I was just watching Brad. It looks like I'm looking at Brad on like a 200-inch screen TV right now for the Zoom call.
It's a beautiful image.
Yeah, it's beautiful with the cat ears. It's amazing.
Yes.
And then I'm looking at my regular monitor here. So I have my monitor, I have a side monitor over here, I've got my big monitor over here, and I'm looking at like I have like our Zoom call meeting right here, so I can see all of us, the 4 of us talking in Zoom, and then I can see, you know, another YouTube channel over here, so I can see the chat in front of me, and then I have it blown up over here. So I mean, you could literally, again, you can do, if you want to do the stuff that's in your own environment, great. But then I can have 20 other screens open if I want. Like I'm limited here to like physical space. How many can I put up here? Like I only have so many, but if I can literally use the ones I currently have physically and then make virtually or augmented the other ones I need, it's like, I don't know, it's like having the best of both worlds, really. I mean, because I can see absolutely everything through the pass-through perfectly. Like I'm reading chat right now, you know, through pass-through, and it's like it's perfect. Like
So that's what I was going to get.
Pro is way better than the Quest 3.
I was going to get on that. So, and just to touch on your point, Brad, yeah. So that Casey YouTuber, that video he put up, he edited that in the headset. Like that's just mental. Like, yeah, that's just crazy. So yeah, so let's talk about pass through then. You guys have both had the same experiences. Is it safe? Well, no, it depends. On a consumer level, I guess Quest 3 was probably the best pass through we had.
Yeah.
Because I guess the Vario was ahead of that, to be fair. The pass through on the Vario.
Yeah.
What was it? Was it X8? What was it?
XR4?
XR4, that was it. The one that had the human eyes on it. Where are we then now with Apple Vision Pro and pass through?
I like to call this a standalone Vario headset. That's what it feels like to me in terms of like quality, visuals. It's really good. Now, it's not obviously true to life the pass through, but like it does the things that it needs to do very well to where the point where it's like fully usable. Like you don't get in that warping. And I think the biggest benefits are all like the little details, like the hand occlusion and like arm occlusion as well. Like if you're in a digital space and like, or even if you're not in a digital space, you have like virtual windows in your pass-through space. Having it like map out your hands and arms in front of those objects is really good. And even like if you're wearing a watch, for example, if you're wearing a watch, you can look at your watch, even though you're in a virtual space, and you can see the time on your watch. And it's like all these elements are just working well in the software. Now I do notice there is a lot of motion blur with the shutter speed of the cameras. It's still not perfect when you're indoors. Like you start moving your head, you're just like, this is very, very, very motion blurry. But otherwise, I've been.
Is that a light issue? Is that a light issue? I heard that might have something to do with the amount of light coming in.
It's still the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you take your hand and put it behind one of the windows? Does that work? Is there?
Yeah, he's got occlusion.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. I can do that. Yep, it does it perfectly. It usually makes it semi-transparent unless you make it super far away behind the window, but it does do that. It does front and behind windows.
That just like adds to the immersion factor massively.
Yeah.
Just watching the videos I've seen, only because I've used MR, am I thinking the fact that these apps and these windows. So do all your windows have shadows? Do they all cast a shadow in your real space?
Yeah, so there's no room setup at all. Like you never are just introduced, like you put on the headset, it's automatically just using the LiDAR and the depth sensing to figure out all the furniture and the depth mapping in your room. And they'll use that depth map and also the lighting in your room as well to cast shadows on objects. So like if I hold a object over my desk, it'll cast the shadow for that object onto my desk. But if I move it onto the floor, the shadow will stop projecting on my desk and then downward onto the floor. It works just perfectly. It's really, really good. One more little thing that people haven't noticed. When you again, the dial, you can switch between pass through and VR. And like let's say right now I'm in like the snowy mountains. It's kind of like a bluish tint to it. When I switch fully to that environment, overlay the lighting of your environment to your hands and arms to match the
No
actual
way.
situation you're in.
That's
And
mental.
one more thing. If you're in like the mountains, like high up in the mountains environment, if you yell something out loud or say something, you can hear your voice echoing through the mountains. It's
Stop
so
it!
immersive.
Get
so
out.
I'm serious. It's crazy. It's insane.
Wow.
Skeevy, you might have to sell your Virtual Boy now to fund an Apple Vision Pro,
I
dude.
know. Oh
Do it.
man,
Do
I
it.
am
It's worth
trying
it.
so hard not to freaking fill a credit card with this thing.
It is a
The
mate.
pass through is really good. Like, and it's not perfect though. Like, I don't want people to think, this is the most perfect. It's not photorealistic pass through, but like, I don't know, that effect that you get with the Quest 3. If anybody's looked at the Quest 3 or the Quest Pro, or even especially the Pico, where everything looks out of size or disproportionate to your actual size. Like if you move it close to you or away from you, I don't get that feeling here. Like my hand, looking at my hand like this,
I see what
it
you're
looks
saying a little
exactly
bit.
like the size of my hand.
I see what you're saying a little bit. Like it's like sometimes when you're in pass through, your FOV's increased almost a little bit. So it
It
makes
just seems like it blows everything up. Like your hand's twice the size as it normally would be.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess because I don't know. I do know what you mean a bit. I don't think I've come across it as an issue, but at the same time, everything's kind of the best of what you've experienced. So until you experience something better, you wouldn't necessarily know that what you did before was shit anyway, or not good. Sorry. So yeah. I mean, so what the other thing I was going to talk about, what about the eyes? So I've heard the eyes on the outside, like it sounded like the marketing was a little bit over, I don't know what the word is. Basically, it made it look very good. But when you started seeing the videos, and I think it was Marcus Brownlee where you saw it up close, you could see almost like the hexagons of the display on the outside. So, I mean, obviously that doesn't matter to you in the headset, but how did you feel when you saw that in real life? And do you agree with it? Do you think it is as good as the marketing or?
Nah. It feels like a Gen 0 like version of it rather than a Gen 1. It does not prove its use case so far, for sure. I don't think it's that good. It's very dim, and I think they're dimming it. I bet you those could get much brighter, but I think Apple knows it doesn't look that good, so they're like dimming it further, so people don't notice how it doesn't look that good. Yeah, it's definitely a gimmick, and it's Gen 1 version, I feel.
That's what I was going to say. To me, it's hard to see them. Like it literally doesn't show, especially if you try and record them in any way. It's hard to show it because they just don't. They did like they showed it in all their stuff. Like it was super clear. Like it actually looked like eyes in the headset, and it doesn't look that way. You have to like really peer into the front to see them, and then when you do, again, you do see a lot of that, gridding that you would get.
Do you know, I get it though. I get the whole thing though. Like when if it all comes together, like I think it was Casey on his YouTube put it the best way. This is going to be the worst Apple Vision Pro. Like this is the worst one, which is like you think, oh wow, like yeah, he's right. Like yeah, he's obviously right. This is the very first version, and I kind of get where it's all going. Where if people can see you, and the eyes kind of then give that connection to the people on the outside, and you can see them, then suddenly everything you're doing in mixed reality, that is mixed reality. Like you've got you've it is real. It'll feel real. It'll feel like a real reality because there'll be no disconnect from anyone there and anyone around you. I think it's amazing. I keep seeing all this stuff, and there was so much negativity online. I was just like, how is this happening? How can no one see that this is probably one of the most important things to ever happen to VR? And that's not to say that everyone should be buying it. They shouldn't, and I don't think Apple know that not everyone's going to buy it. It's not meant to be that. But I love the idea of people being able to go in the store finally and try VR, because it's not like Meta have got stores with 20 headsets and people saying, "Yeah, come and try this." Yeah, dude. So okay, so we've done pass through, we've done the wait. If anyone's got any questions in chat, please let us know. Just try and put AVP at the beginning so I can see like this is a certain question. Oh, well, actually, someone's actually put question, which is really helpful. Does the visor record in 8K and 180 degrees? I think he means as well in VR.
So you can do screen recordings and they don't look that amazing. They're like a typical widescreen of what you're looking at and doing. And they also apply foveated rendering to the image. So like things that you're not looking at will look blurry. But if you're talking about like the spatial video capturing, which you can do,
I think that's what he
talk
means.
about that.
I think that's what he means. Spatial stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is like a more of a squarish aspect ratio. It's nowhere near 8K or 180 VR. It's like this 3D stereoscopic video. And actually, something I noticed that I haven't seen anyone talk about is I brought this thing to basically a shopping mall, and I walked around all around the mall with it, just recording spatial video. And when I played it back, there's two things I noticed. One, Apple knew from the video that there was a lot of motion in it, and before I could full screen it, it warned me, "Hey, there's a lot of motion. It might make you uncomfortable," which was really neat that it knew that from the video. But two, when you walk around normally, you kind of have like a bobbing because it's on your head, right? Your camera's bobbing. Usually you need to hold a gimbal when you're recording stuff. But even when I was recording, seeing the bobbing in the actual recorded video, the spatial video, Apple's clearly applying a image optical stabilization. So like your point of view of walking stuff and like the 3D video is very like as if you are holding a gimbal. It's very smooth out video.
Wow.
I was quite impressed by that because you have people who put GoPros on their head to do certain things in public and stuff, and it really kind of felt like that, even though it wasn't that extremely high res, but it was 3D video and it was kind of interesting to do that.
So how much Eric, have you recorded any spatial videos yourself with your iPhones, whatever, and then watched it back yet?
I haven't. I don't have an iPhone, number one. My daughter does, which I'll play with it and do some of that stuff, but I don't. Mainly what I've done so far is I've recorded in headset stuff. So because I'm trying to get some videos and stuff out, so I want people to see what I'm seeing and experiences. So I've done a lot of that recording inside of the headset. And Brad's right; it looks good. It looks really good. It actually does do a good job, like better than I would say any other headset of capturing what you see inside the headset, which is great. And I've watched a lot of entertainment things, and I've watched movies, I've watched YouTube.
The way you said that was like you've been watching stuff you shouldn't be watching. I've watched
that was one of the first things people asked me too. Was like, "Are you going to watch porn in this thing?" Of course, that's what you're going to do first. I mean, come on. No, I watched movies. You want to know the first thing I usually do? The first thing I usually watch in any new headsets when I want to check it out, I watch Ready Player One. Saturday night, I sat and watched the entirety of 3D showing of Ready Player One in the headset. And I watched it in 3 different modes. Brad, I'm sure you've probably watched a movie in it so far. You have 3 different modes. You have the cinema mode where you feel like it looks like you're inside of a huge theater. You have a bright mountain, like a cliff top kind of thing where it's bright around you. and then you have a nighttime cliff top, which is super cool because like everything below the cliff is like has like a smoky effect, like it's fog almost, which is super cool. And then everything is kind of like moonlit around it, and that's how I prefer to watch it. I watch the entire movie in that way, but the screen is absolutely huge in front of you, and the 3D, watching the movie in 3D was absolutely amazing. And the audio, like I've heard some people complaining about the audio. I have zero complaints about the audio. I thought it was fantastic.
I've heard people saying it's better than their Apple Vision Pros, like their actual headphones. Like they actually would rather.
Oh, yeah. I haven't used anything yet for headphones. Like,
Did I say pros? What are the fucking
did.
not Apple Vision
I think
Pros?
you meant iPods.
Sorry, yeah, iPod Pros. Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I saw some people buying I like iPod, and I'll probably do that just for like privacy, like if you're on a plane or something. But
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever need them. Like really, if I don't care about other people seeing, I think the audio is great. Brad, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think the spatial audio is fantastic. Like everything this headset feels just like high end. It really does. Like I never find anything that doesn't feel like that.
And that's what I was going to say. So, like, when you combine, because as I said, you see the salt he takes. So, like, people are like, oh, God, look at that unboxing. How much box do you need for this? And all this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, now, hold on a minute. You've paid $3,500 for something. You want to feel quite special. And you want to feel that what you've bought is special. So, and it's very early days still. Do you feel like I'm pretty sure most people know when you buy something whether it's worth the money pretty quickly. Like now, considering it sounds like you've still got stuff to discover and you're still using it, have you had that feeling yet? Have you? Do you feel like this is a good investment so far?
So I'll go first. For me,
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm glad you didn't, because for me, I'm the opposite end. This is like I've been wanting something like that. Like, I've always made my like spiels on this podcast about like how much I love Steam VR overlays and like all the stuff I can do in AR and VR environments with the persistence in between the two. And this headset really feels like Apple made a headset focused on Steam VR overlays, even though it's their ecosystem and all that stuff. And I love it. The visuals have finally gotten to the point where like, so I was originally like, I was gonna do like the 1 month thing. Oh, like, hey, I'm using Apple Vision Pro as like my monitor replacement, see how it goes. But like I can tell from the first weekend, I'm probably not gonna go back to using my monitor ever again. I'm just gonna always use this thing as a monitor replacement for all my like everything I'm doing. It's like just it works exactly how I hoped a headset would fit this case. And I really hope Todd gets one, by the way, Eric. Like I think Todd would.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he would coom, like honestly.
Do you know what I think in some ways? Do you know what I think in some ways is that some people are so forward thinking. Like I do feel that Brad thinks ahead of where we are. Like some people just do that, don't they? They see what something is at the moment, and some people just accept it for what it is at the moment. But I think Brad always gets something and thinks, what if? Like, wouldn't it be cool? And I think that's what he's kind of saying. Like, this headset is ticking a lot of the boxes that I kind of imagined. But I do think you might not be a massive portion of people.
No, I'm the weirdo. I'm the weirdo with the cat ears. I am aware this is still not mass market. But for me, yeah, exactly what you just said. This ticks most of my boxes about what I wanted from an XR headset for so long, and it's just like it's actually unbelievable. Okay, it's unbelievable, one, that I'm wearing it and using it right now. Like it feels kind of like a dream scenario still. But two, it feels unbelievable this is an Apple product that is doing it. Like I gotta watch Apple closely, and that is something I never expected I would do in my lifetime, because I've never been really like that deeply friendly with the Apple stuff. But they're doing everything right, I feel. So yeah, except the controllers thing.
I still think though, like, and we spoke about this quickly the other day. I don't know who I was talking to, but end of the day, when iPhone started, it was on here. It was on Thursday. When iPhone started, gaming wasn't part of the thing. It just wasn't. It wasn't. But eventually, the customer's always right, and if that's what the customer wants, then eventually that'll happen. So, Eric, on to you, sir. How do you feel about Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not there yet. Like I'm still early days with this thing for me. Like I've got some time in it this weekend, but not a ton. I would say I don't want to go out and say that like this is my review and this is what I think of this yet. I do think the potential for this headset is absolutely enormous of what you can do with it. I like the fact that I can absolutely work in this headset away from my setup. Like, do I think this would replace my main monitor? No, because I think I could still work more efficiently on my regular desktop and my main monitor. But I don't always want to be here. Like, I find myself more and more now that I work from home, trying to get away from this setup and go just even outside, sit on my patio, sit downstairs on my couch. Like, I don't always want to be glued to this chair. And I find myself not wanting to use my laptop as much just because it's not as efficient. This efficiency wise is crazy good. Like,
Yeah, you can go and sit on your patio with your coffee
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
carry on
And I
working.
could yeah, exactly. Like I understand now like what Todd talks about when he's like, I want to work in VR all day. Like literally, if you can do that and you can get away from like sitting like in this exact spot, that's huge for me. Like if I can do those things and it still be productive, that's what I want. So yeah, I'm kind of like in between where Brad is. My other side of mine is I am coming at from more of a gamer's perspective. I want a game on this thing. I am on the verge of figuring it out. Like I am that close. Like I will probably have Pal World running on this thing probably by tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to be gaming, in this headset, all my Steam games with an Xbox controller on a freaking 300-inch screen if I want. And it's going to be absolutely amazing with these displays, better than any monitor I could have or any headset I could
I
have.
was just gonna say, isn't it like double Quest 3? It's like 3.8 something. Isn't it horizontally better than it is vertically or something?
Yes.
What is
It's
it?
like 30. It's like 3600 by 3100 per eye.
And Quest
around there.
and what's Quest 3? Quest 3 is just under 2K, isn't it?
Like 2200 by 2000 per eye. Yeah.
So, and it was weird when even though I've watched loads of videos, again, Mike's video seemed to be the first one to really show me the design of the lenses. I don't think I've seen lenses like that before.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk to me about the lenses, because I know you boys love your pancake lenses like most of us do once you experience Quest 3 and Pancake and other headsets. So talk to me about visuals, basically.
I'll just say this because this isn't my thing. This is Brad's thing. So I'm going to let him take the lead in this. I will say the one thing that scared the shit out of me when I did the unboxing, I looked at the size of the lenses and they're so freaking small. I'm like, oh my God, this isn't going to be good. Like literally the lenses were like this big. Like I've never seen lenses that small in a headset. And I've got pretty much every headset. And I'm like, oh, I'm nervous now until I put it on. And then everybody's like, what's the field of view? And I got to say, like I'm just now spending it and doing the movie thing the other night, and it doesn't bother me at all. Like I know it's smaller, but again, I lose it fast. Like I can notice it as soon as I put it on, and then it goes away. But that's all I'll say about the lens.
What do you think? What do you think about the edge clarity, Eric?
It's really good. There is no blurriness.
Yeah.
I keep trying to trick myself. Like I keep trying to like just move my eyes and not my head and just try and get the edges, and you can't. Like I don't know if you've ever seen any headset with foveated rendering, you always have that moment of when you move your eyes, it doesn't catch up fast enough. You don't have that here. Like,
Yeah.
pretty like again, we're not gaming or anything with this. So, but everything I've done so far, movies, this right now, watching myself talk on this big 300-inch monitor, I can't catch a piece of blurriness moving my eyes around all the edges. I probably look like a freak on screen right now, moving my eyes around inside the headset.
So I'm really glad you quickly touched on FOV. What is it? Is it 90 degrees they're quoting? Or they haven't actually quoted it, have they? I think officially, apparently.
No.
It's been hard to do measurements as well because there's no it's a new platform, new software. They don't support OpenXR, so it's hard to use like predetermined FOV measurement apps that we've used before. Yeah, it's the vertical is the weak spot. It's probably like maybe 90 vertical, but I think the horizontal is it feels pretty large to me. Like I don't know about you.
Do you know what it looked like to me when I saw those lenses? More than any other lenses, it looked like they're trying to replicate the shape of a human eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it
Def-
looked like to me. Like, I haven't heard anyone say that, but when I saw it, I was like, that actually looks like
Yeah.
a human eye. You know, it's our eyes aren't as tall as they are wide. So yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. One more thing quickly before you answer. Like IPD, what happens with IPD in this headset? Is it just automatic? You just get in there, it sorts itself out, done.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep. And
Button.
it's also so there's been mechanical IPDs, but a lot of them that are motorized have been like they can move on one rail basically, like both eyes closer together. This one will actually adjust them per eye basis because some people might not have like the equal symmetry. So Apple thought of that. But I want to go back to the lenses because there's one very interesting thing about the Apple Vision Pro lenses that have not happened in a consumer product. So the lenses are actually concave. So if you look at them, they are, like a bowl rather than something flat that you usually get with most lenses. And that's one way they get wider FOV. Usually, so this has been something the industry's known about, curved lenses for a while. They are a type of pancake lenses still. The problem with curved lenses is usually they would add a lot of distortions to the image. However, when you have good enough eye tracking, you can track your eyes and do dynamic optical distortion corrections to compensate for all the distortions that curved lenses and concave lenses add to the image. That's one reason why it looks so good. In fact, if the eye tracking ever breaks sometimes, you'll notice like a huge amount of aberration just like pop up on the screen for like a split second. So like they're doing everything right. Was there something else I wanted to talk about, the eye tracking? Oh yeah. So and not only do they just do that, but you have to scan your prescription lenses. Like you have to look at like a little card and they apply your prescription values to that dynamic optical distortion as well to compensate for the extra little values and tweaks that the prescription lenses will add to the image itself. So eye tracking's wonderful.
That is
Wow.
fantastic.
Have either
It's
of you tried Discord? I live so when I'm thinking about computing
No.
in a headset, Discord is absolutely mission critical for me. I live in it. We run a business out of it. I talk to my friends in it. It's the way I'm social. Have you tried Discord by chance? Yeah.
I have not.
I use it all the time.
Yes.
I
All right.
have it right here. It
Nice.
works. The only complaint I have about the Discord app is it doesn't have an easy button to just put photos or videos in there. So I usually have to go to the photo app and like share it from there to the Discord button. I'm sure that's something that they might fix eventually, but that's the only problem I have with it. Everything else works totally as you'd expect on Discord.
Nice.
Nice. Quick shout out to Rezel VR earlier for dropping 50 VR CruCast memberships.
Hey,
And I still didn't get
50.
one. How is this possible?
I know I didn't either. I watched it scrolling by. I'm like, come on, come on.
Come on, mother. Yeah, thank you ever so much for that, dude. As I say, because I get it, sometimes people are worried about memberships. Basically, you're going to have a membership for a month, and if you don't want to keep it up, I think it's like 99 cents or something.
Worth
Then
it. It's
it-
a deal. It's a deal. It's a bargain.
It'll just fade away, so don't worry about it. It's nothing to panic about. But thank you ever so much for that support, dude, as always. And we had another comment from Lincoln Clay VR, who's been a guest on this show before. He does fantastic streams of racing games, like VR racing, a lot of the time. $10 donation. He's put Apple Vision Pro in court. Judge, jury, prosecutors, and defendant all wearing Apple Vision Pros. I don't know what. What's he talking about? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean, maybe because he's saying, we shouldn't be judging it because we're wearing it. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can't judge it if you don't have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So how do you
like,
feel about it? I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't know. For me, I'm not saying whether this thing, like, I don't think 90% of the people should probably buy this yet. Like, I don't know if the value to the cost is there for most people. It may not even be there for me. You know what I mean? And I'm doing this for my channel, and I'm going to work in it. I'm going to use it for a whole bunch of different things, and I still might not even be able to get my full cost out of it. So the average everyday person, if you're not going to use this for, I don't know, entertainment and workflow and whatever else, it's probably not worth it. I would guess at this point. I can tell you it's the best piece of tech I've ever put on my face, and I've tried pretty much every headset there is. That's some that aren't even available to the public. I've tried, and it absolutely is the easiest. You know what's easy about it? And I'm not in the Apple ecosystem. I don't have an iPhone. I don't have an iPad. I don't use any of that shit.
full. So
Yeah, it's the ease of the user interface. It's super intuitive and super easy. One of the things that we haven't even talked about yet, I'm sure we'll get into, is the hand tracking and how
mm.
super smooth and easy it is, and like, I don't know, just grabbing and moving screens is so easy. Like, y- if you've tried the Quest hand tracking and then gone to another like some of the Chinese headsets that do hand tracking, you're like, wow, this is kind of garbage compared to the Quest. That's how I feel going from the Quest compared to the Apple Vision Pro. Like, I'm like, oh my
Wow.
God. I mean, the hand tracking is so good here that where hand tracking is really, really good in the Quest, it seems like it's in
Well,
a different level now.
well, the hand tracking on Apple Vision Pro works in combination with eye tracking, doesn't it? That's probably the biggest difference.
Yeah. Yep.
Because you can basically, as far as I can tell, I mean, you're going to tell me, but you don't need to physically press something to make something happen. You can select it with your eyes and then make the pinch, and that makes it's like an invisible cursor. Your eyes are the cursor. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I don't know. And look at how good the hands look in this.
is it relaxing to use? Like, just does it feel taxing? I mean, that's a big question, isn't it? Does it feel hard to use sometimes, or does it just feel intuitive? Like,
I think it's intuitive for the apps that are definitely designed for the Vision OS, but when you do start getting to some of like the iPad iOS apps and they have anything small, that's where you start to see it break pretty powerfully. For me, I actually like using the eye tracking and everything in combination with a physical keyboard and a trackpad. Because so like I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 screens all around me. And all I have to do is look at a certain screen and it automatically starts to focus on that screen. And then I move my touchpad and a cursor pops up so I can actually use it and then use my keyboard to type. So it feels like the most personal computing I've ever had because I have the combination of these like superpower senses at my fingertips. Yeah.
that's crazy. I mean, and you talk about the cost. I mean, if maybe not this generation, but the next, how many monitors would you need to do that stuff? Like in the old films where
Mhm.
like you'd see someone who was like a fucking cyber junkie who hacked everything. They would be sitting in front of what, 20 monitors at once or doing something. And Brad's sitting in front of 8 right now doing whatever. It's pretty wild, really.
Again, my monitor I've used full time was a giant 32 by 9 ultra wide. Like it's 49 inches. Like I clearly valued my screen space quite a bit by having such a monitor. But like this has been the step forward from that again I wanted and it does it. Like it just does it the way I want it. So yep.
Think about this and just like think about number one, economy, think about, resources of the world. How many physical monitors do I have here? I've got a 55 inch, a 27 inch, a 27 inch, and a smaller 24 inch that I can use. I can eliminate every one of those and have one headset do everything. Like, think about those things. Think about, whatever is built into a monitor nowadays and all those resources that you need to produce those monitors. So if you're thinking about, some of the things we have to mine certain things around the world and what that goes into doing those types of things. And then what we can eliminate to get to that point where you don't have to have all those things. That to me, I mean, it could be something special. Now, then again, we're not there yet, but this is the entry. This is the beginning. This is it right here.
So, just a quick question for the chat, and thank you ever so much for being here. Are any of you used to it yet? Are any of you used to looking at Mash and Brad this way? Because I kind of like, I'm flickering. Like, I forget because of the faces you're pulling and the emotion, like you're showing, and then something might happen and I'm reminded again. I don't know if you feel the same, Skeever, like with that.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, ultimately, man, I feel like I'm very easily able to kind of forget about it but at the same time, I'm used to like, going into, Resonite or VR chat or whatever and looking at someone's avatar and immediately just associating that with somebody.
Yeah, that's
And,
true.
I see sometimes like, for example, I see, one of my best friends, Tribe Greywolf, I see him more in avatar form than I do in person. And when I see him in person, I'm like, whoa, that's weird. Put your avatar back on, bro. But but I think ultimately it looks pretty good. It is a little bit uncanny, which is what makes it a little weird because it's so close, but it's off a bit. You know what I mean? And when you start getting close, that's when it starts to get weird.
Brad, he's got no. He's just like a balloon of a man. There's just nothing there. He turns around and
It's gone.
it's just empty. It's insane.
Abraham Lincoln.
I've got like
What did somebody say giraffe, Brad, or did you say giraffe, Brad? You look like Brad.
Yeah.
Oh,
The tappy neck. That's when it starts to look weird, I feel.
Can you
It was funny that
can you
that
say
Squid
multiple
just said
personas?
uncanny.
sorry
Oh, go
boys,
ahead.
what was
Sorry.
that?
Go ahead, Skiva.
Oh, I was gonna ask if you could save multiple personas and pick between them, or there's only one.
There's only one right now. Yeah. And yeah, you have to delete one if you want to scan your family member to try it, which I did with my father. And then I forgot I scanned him. So when I like put it on and like saw the persona, me acting as him, that was probably the most unnerved I've ever felt in my life. Like basically being a body snatcher. Like, ooh, I did not like that.
So this is a good one. So Sven in the chat said his mum said he still looks like her son. This is what his mum said. My mum said I look like her son, but with no soul. Like, what?
Probably.
That's
It's
just
the eyes, I think. Yeah, it's the eyes, right, Brad? The
eyes.
are pretty-
Brad's eye. I would say like Mash. Yours look more realistic the way they move and stuff, but Brad's in detail look more realistic.
Mm.
If you know what I mean. Like when Brad gets up close, then you can
Yeah.
see them. They look pretty cool.
Brad, what are you getting up closer to? Like, what are you moving to get up closer?
I just move my head up to the window.
See, now you look like Brad. That
Oh, you're moving it
Yeah.
up.
when
to the
you were
window.
closer then.
All right, well, hold on. Let me bring the window closer to me. I have the window way far away.
I think you have to actually move your head. You can't move the camera, surprisingly. Yeah, it's weird.
It
doesn't
looked
look
better
well
up
to
close,
Mash.
to be honest. It looked
Yeah.
Brad, you
No,
look
I can't really do it.
Oh yeah, that looks so good.
that
What?
looks really good up close.
That
And now
looks
Max, you look
incredible.
even more like you now a bit closer.
Yeah, am I getting closer?
I think so. I think
Oh, when Brad moves his face really close, it gets very realistic.
yeah.
It's you move further back, and you know what? Maybe it is. I think some of it, like especially with Brad, and when you have people or like women with long hair, the hair doesn't move, which instantly is a giveaway, right? So,
All right.
That's exactly what a kid would do in it. They'd be like, love it. Absolutely love it. Some people are used to it in the chat. Some people are used to it and still finding it creepy. Some of them feel like I think they just feel like they've had to accept it, which is not really what we was going for. But yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
Mash broke his.
Yeah, I did. I moved it. Hang on. Let me,
Oh no. So my next question. Oh my god, Eric. Oh mate, that's fucking creepy as fuck.
You look
Whoa!
like
You look
yeah.
stunned, man.
Oh,
is it better now?
I don't
Why is the
know.
camera turned on me?
Oh,
I think it'll eventually fix itself.
it
Probably.
looks like you're having
maybe.
a little bit of a mini stroke. Like one.
Brad, I have a
Getting me from the
question.
side.
If if you travel, do you feel like you could not bring a laptop and only work off of this?
Oh,
like your keyboard and stuff.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I'll definitely
do
bring the
any, like-
keyboard and trackpad.
Do you do any cloud computing and using like OneDrive or Google Drive, like to work on documents or spreadsheets or any of that stuff by chance?
This is where they get you. I sub-
Mash.
It broke now? I can't move it. It won't move.
Oh, it's starting to go back to normal.
Yeah, it's
Alright.
base all right now.
Okay, dang it. Broken was funny.
Oh my god, that was fucking.
Broken was more
hilarious.
funny.
Wait,
You was
can
just.
you cross your eyes? Can you like look at your nose? Can you cross your eyes? Will it track that?
You look like, do you know, Eric? You look like you was about to burst into tears. You look like someone when you was looking away. It looked like you was gonna cry. Like you've got your mouth went down a little bit. It's
Ooh, I wonder if it has tear tracking.
all right.
That one.
Let's talk about something else. Well, not something else, same thing. But let's talk about the battery. Like, how do you guys feel about this battery? Like, you know, because obviously every video you watch, you can see the fucking cord coming out and stuff. Some people just genuinely aren't really finding it an issue, you know. Maybe because some of these people are completely brand new to VR, and maybe they just think it's not too bad. I don't know. Talk to me. Battery.
The battery hasn't been an issue for me at all. Like, but mainly think about what you're doing with it. Every time, this isn't like a VR headset where you're up doing pistol whip or playing Beat Saber. You're not moving around like a VR headset. So to me, everything I've done with it so far, I've been seated and I've been plugging the battery into into the headset, of course, but into my outlet. So I've had zero battery issues because I've been stationary. Now, I guess if I go outside or somewhere where I have to worry about, having not a spot where I can plug it in, I'll have to worry about another source of power, like a separate power bank or something like that. But I don't know. This isn't what that's for. Like, you know what I mean? So to me, I very rarely even have it in my pocket. Like, Brad, like, where do you have yours right now? I just have it sitting on my desk right now. So it's not an issue in any way whatsoever. And this cord doesn't bother me. It's just kind of sitting here.
I was just going to say, what is the weight of the cord? Sorry, Brad. What's the weight of the cord? Because one of the things that bothered me about the Pimax so much was the weight of what was hanging on the headset. Is it just a very light, flexible, like link cable kind of feel? Like,
Way lighter, I think, than the link cable, right? Yeah, it's really
Really?
light. Really
Well, I
light. You
don't
don't
think
even
this
notice it. Yeah.
there's no it's only for power, right? So there's no pass through of data here. So you don't need the heavy cord that you would normally. This feels like a normal USB-C cord that's braided. It's a very light cord.
brilliant.
All right, real quick. So every once in a while, there's a comment in chat that just absolutely destroys me, and this is one of them. I had to mute myself and just laugh for the past 10 minutes. Verified Game says Eric looks like he did a ton of mushrooms an hour ago and they just kicked in.
Maybe we've all done the mushrooms. We're like, whoa.
Yeah, right.
That was a beautiful comment, man.
It is a beautiful comment.
Thanks for the laugh. I needed that.
Mickey Bear dropping game codes in the chat. Thank you ever so much, dude. He does this every single week, and I think he does it on multiple podcasts. So bless him, man. Thank you ever so much for this. So yeah, hopefully, yeah. If anyone does take one of those codes, please make sure to leave him a thank you. That'd be just a little bit of manners. That's polite. So yeah, Brad, what do you think of the battery, dude?
It's fine. I mean, I use a tether most of the time, so like maybe I'm probably the worst person to ask about this, but yeah, I have it always. I have the battery always plugged in directly to wall power at my desk whenever I'm here, and then if I have to get up or anything, I unplug it, put it in my back pocket, and just go. I don't notice it at all, honestly. So
how powerful is the battery? Like, what's the specs of the battery?
So it's really confusing because it's a really high wattage battery. It's like oh man, like a 13-volt battery, which like I think on the Quest batteries they're like 3 volts. So that's where like it's a powerful battery in terms of like getting power to the headset. I don't want to use milliamp hour because it won't really make sense, but it's basically got double the battery capacity and a much higher wattage than what you get on like a Quest 3 battery, for example. So
what is the chances of you buying a third party battery, for example, for use with this? Like, how much would that cost someone, and how much are the ones? Because I didn't know. Basically, what I'm trying to ask is, sometimes if you buy the official product, it's just expensive because it's the official product, and it probably looks nicer, I'd imagine. It goes with the headset. Could you buy a third party version of this battery, and if so, how much would it be?
you can't because welcome to Apple. They use a proprietary connection to charge the headset, and I don't think they're going to open that up to anyone. Now, what you can do though is you could since it has a USB-C in the battery, you could daisy chain like a third party battery into it for that. But for me, I don't think I'm going to do that, honestly. I really don't see the scenario very often where I won't be able to find a wall plug if I really,
Yeah.
really need it, even on the go. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure that's what that Casey did. He daisy chained one big power bank to the Apple Pro battery and into the headset. I'm pretty sure that's what he did. Don't quote me on that. I'm not
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I've seen a couple people do that where they just daisy chain the batteries and then they're out and about for a good portion of the day.
Yeah, yeah. But have you played game? All right, let's talk about movies quickly before I get into games. So the movie experience you're both saying is absolutely fantastic. Now, one of the things that I really wanted to experience was what they showed that lady on the plane experience, and she was sitting down in a Disney. She was watching a Disney film, and suddenly, like, she's in a Disney world that was kind of in combination with what she's watching. So I'm imagining that you watch Ariel, suddenly you're underwater in an underwater cave. Maybe characters pop up. I don't know. What's it like? Like,
I actually haven't done the Disney Plus yet, and I do have Disney Plus. I just haven't had a chance to do it. I really only did a 3D movie. I watched a few minutes of Avatar, which of course you always have to try Avatar in 3D. And I did the whole Ready Player One movie, which is amazing. I thought it was one of the best, and I've tried them in like, glass, like the Unreal glasses, the Rokid glasses. I've done movies in all my headsets. Pretty much every headset that I have, I've tried a movie in it. This was by far the best experience in a movie. Doing a movie or having a cinematic experience
that
so
is
far,
cool.
because the visuals were so freaking good. Like,
To me, this is like the rebirth of 3D. I was a massive fan of 3D when it first happened. I remember
Yeah, me
seeing,
too.
yeah, like Avatar, I think was the first film. So I stopped going to the cinema. I'm sure you guys followed suit where like pirate films were everywhere, torrents
Mhm.
and blah, 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 blah. And and obviously 3D happened. And my cousin was like, listen, there's this new film out. It's supposed to be visually amazing. Do you want to go and see it in 3D? I didn't even watch a trailer. I just went, yeah, no worries. I had no idea how long the film was going to be, like 3 hours or something. But I honestly felt like watching Avatar in 3D, it was like the rebirth of cinema for me personally. I was like, from now, I am going to go and watch a film in the cinema if it's 3D. I don't care if there's a copy out there. Like, I want to go and see these films in 3D. And then I've got the 3D TV. Like, so I think 3D is very good in Quest 3, far better than it is on Quest 2, and far, 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 far better than it was on PSVR. So, what's it like watching 3D in that headset at that pixel count? I mean, it must be like brilliant, to be honest.
Yeah, so I did try the Disney Plus thing, and that's actually what I tried was the new Avatar, like the Way of Water one. I haven't seen it before, and yeah, it looks really good. Like you got the OLED colors going on there. You got the basically literally no screen door effect. In fact, I kind of worry that the visuals look so good that even a movie like Avatar, the CGI starts to break. Like
mm,
you just start, it starts that, which is crazy because they like the best CGI like on in the world. But like when you view it at such a high fidelity in like 3D, you're like, oh, that CGI doesn't look that good actually. So yeah, it's really weird in that
Avatar
way.
is an old
Yeah.
film, though. Like, if you're on about the
I
original.
was talking about the new one, the
Oh,
second one that just came out last year.
mm.
Yeah, I was like I saw some creatures running around, and I was like, oh, those things look like dead-eyed creatures with the flip. Like, yeah, but and talking about the environments real quick, this is one downside actually of the headset that I would love to go into. So yes, when you open the Disney Plus app, you can open it as like a spatial window or overlay and like watch it in the default home screens or home views or whatever. Or you can choose to watch it in their immersive views, which is like the stuff you saw. Like you can go to Star Wars, you can go to the Marvel skyscraper,
oh, do you know what? I just
two other ones.
realised, man, I could watch Star Wars in 3D and that. Oh my god.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, Brad. Carry
Yep,
on.
they had
Sorry.
they. No, it's okay. They did have the Star Wars movies. Now, for me, the problem with that is if you choose one of those environments, um, Apple doesn't give access to basically allow you to have all your windows in those environments. So they basically you're stuck in that, which is probably fine for watching movies, but for me, like I still like to have like Discord and stuff open while I'm watching a movie. So that's like one of the downsides of software. I hope that they allow people to like fix because yeah, it's really cool being on Tatooine and like the speeder watching stuff. If I can't have my spatial computing thing going on, I don't.
I know what you
I
mean.
decided
Yeah.
not to sacrifice that.
Sometimes when you're watching a
Yeah.
video, you check your phone and stuff. You know, you don't want to be. I get that. I get that.
Here's a question
Yep.
about movies. One of the things that drove me nuts when I had bought an iPhone 15 Pro Max was that I may or may not have a million different MP4 files, all different kinds of movies and 3D movies. And because I like to travel and I like to bring movies with me when I do. And on an Android phone, you just drag and drop them into a folder, you're done, ready to go. Is there any way to do that, or do you have to use iTunes to sync those types of media files to the headset, or do you have to purchase them through Apple service? And then so two-part question. And if you do, I don't know if you've done this yet or not, can you download them locally to the headset through Apple service so you can watch them on a plane or where you have no internet?
So at least for Apple TV Plus, you can download every 3D movie and it'll save locally for like a period of time. I I think also on Disney Plus you can do that. Yeah, I mean, again, that's why I really wanted to make sure I have enough space because I do see myself wanting to have everything local only for those scenarios, and it seems like they are supporting that. Yeah.
How about those MP4 files? Can you just grab them and drag them into the headset somehow?
That's a good question. I haven't honestly, I have not tried that yet, but that would be a
Do
good
either
test
of you
for sure.
have a Mac, like a MacBook or anything? And have you done the virtual screen from? Right.
I do not.
Yeah.
I've done it. And actually this was like kind of how I could test like if you really want to know like what it's if I could describe the visual clarity, I connected my MacBook. You can only have one screen right now, which I think is a big disappointment. You can actually set different resolutions from your MacBook designed for the Vision Pro all the way up to 5K. They let you do 5K, 4K, or 1440p. Now, what I notice is I think the sweet spot for the current pixels per degree is like having a bunch of 1440p monitors everywhere. So if you use like a 4K display daily and like text gets really small and like the scale of things get very small, even the Vision Pro is not there yet. But for 1440p, I think it's like totally the sweet spot for replacement. Now, looking at your screen and seeing the little thing pop up and like connecting to it pretty seamlessly, that's pretty cool. But I think the most beneficial thing of having a MacBook is, and maybe I'm biased because I already use a keyboard and trackpad for everything, but it also allows you to map the keyboard and trackpad to the same ways you use it if you had it like separate ones Bluetooth connected. So you would still interact with your Vision OS apps as well, that keyboard and trackpad. So that's, I think, the more interesting part about it, other than it's the virtual display thing.
Kevin Brook just commented, only just noticed Eric has a fake hat on.
Not fake though. I could put the real hat on.
Not
like
fake.
Whoa!
Hat.
Inception.
So I could put the hat on and like be Inception, Eric. Yeah. For sure.
There's a really cool app on Quest. It might be on Steam as well. What's the DJ one, Eric, that we've been to events with it?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Give me a second. Oh God.
I only used it a month ago. I really enjoyed it.
Tribe
XR.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen the app on the App Store for Apple Vision Pro where you can DJ and you have the full iTunes catalog that you can instantly just download and mix as you go. I saw that. I was like, that is insane. And you can mix on your iPhone, on your Mac, and on Apple Vision Pro, and you get your decks. But the fact that you can just access that iTunes catalog instantly and have those songs streaming is insane. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
Apple's kind of too powerful. Like I don't know how does Meta catch up to this? Like honestly, like from an ecosystem level, it's like monopoly for sure.
Well,
Like, absolutely.
the only way they can compete is by them not being in gaming at the moment.
Yeah.
And secondly is just price. Literally
Well,
price.
I think they also have to negotiate with Google and get the Google Play Store on there, so you can grab any Android app on there too, which realistically probably won't happen because Google's
No.
about to enter this space as well, and they're probably going to want that for their own headset with Samsung, right? So it'll be interesting to see, but I think that would be the way to do it.
Yeah. We
There's
did get
freaking no Google apps on this thing. Like I searched every single one. Google didn't pull out any single Google app to be downloaded, even if it's just an iPad or iOS app that would normally work.
What I use for
Yeah.
everything.
If you got a
Yeah.
question in chat,
Yeah.
if you could just write question it, just make it easier to tell between anyone who's having a conversation or. But there is a couple here. Simon says VR. How's the latency on the virtual monitors?
It's very low for
I don't
at least the MacBook
okay.
version.
Okay. David DeFranco says, going back to speakers, you might have missed this. How would you say the spatial audio compares to 5.1 surround sound?
It's really good. Like you catch it from all different angles. Like especially during like the movies and things like that, where you have different cues from different areas. It absolutely is spatial because you'll catch it from behind you at some point. Then it'll be in front of you, to the right, to the left. They do an app. They do a demo app that's already downloaded, pre-downloaded, which we should talk about how good it is just anyway. But the audio in Dinosaur, Brad, if you've done that demo, the audio in that is amazing because you're hearing these little dinosaur sounds around you, and all of a sudden you'll pick it up from like a corner over here, and like literally looked in my room at one point because I thought that I thought it was actually coming from my room. But yeah, I think the audio is fantastic.
Awesome.
I agree.
Brad, did you do the dinosaur demo?
I did. It was neat.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So it basically opens up a portal. You're in your own environment. It opens up a large portal, by the way. It's not just like the normal one you would see like in any other game, but it opens up a huge portal in your wall, and you're able to stand up and walk around into that portal or out of that portal. And at one point, this huge like Tyrannosaurus Rex sized dinosaur walks into your space and sticks his head into your space through that portal, and you're able to actually interact with them a little bit. Brad, did you try and like reach out and touch them?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it worked. It was neat. For me though, I've tried demos like it, so it wasn't really the wow factor I wanted. But it was still very good, and it wowed everyone else that I gave demos to, which I think is probably the reason why they install it out of the box for everyone. So yeah, that's good.
And that's what I was thinking too. Like we've all a lot of us have done those types of demos, but I was like, this is gonna freaking blow people away. Like this is like that first time that dinosaur sticks its head into your own environment and like just roars at you, it's gonna freak people out.
Yeah, it does look very cool, that demo. Another question: how bright are the displays, and is the persistence comparable to PSVR 2?
Super
Yeah,
bright.
so yeah, they're very bright. I didn't measure them yet. I plan to, but I've just been kind of enjoying the device instead of benchmarking it right now. They're bright, but they do have persistence still, unfortunately. Not as bad as PSVR 2 at max brightness, but still, if you move your head looking at digital content, it will definitely, you'll notice Quest 3 and Quest Pro and all these LCD headsets have a better low persistence for sure than this headset, which is why we need brighter micro OLED displays. All right, yeah, okay.
What's the frame rate on this thing again?
Usually 90, but it can go up to 96 or 100 depending on variables of what you're watching or your environment. So, yeah.
There's a question from Rezel, which I don't think you're going to be able to answer anyway, but because he's so lovely to us on the channel, he's put, do you see yourself still using this regularly 6 months or a year from now, once the wow factor wears off? Yeah, that's a question for you.
I mean, I think I could, but again, I'm still in that wow factor phase, so it's unfair for me to answer that. Like, I would have to get out of that phase to be able to answer that. Like,
I mean, just by talking to you two, I would say Eric's far more likely to not be using it than Brad, because Brad seems to be fully using it for what they would have invented it for. So, or like he accepts it very quickly. Like, this is what I've always wanted, as maybe Mash might discover.
Yeah.
That's how I want to use it.
Yeah, me and Mash go in and play first-person shooters a lot, right? And I mean, so I'm imagining that headset will come off, the Quest will go on, so you can play some video games,
Yeah.
and then maybe
Yeah.
productivity time, you put the AVP back on. So
If I can figure out how to, number one, I know I can figure out because I already have a way to do it, to run Steam on this headset. So as long as I can run Steam and I can do some things, I'll do some things flat that I would never play flat in this headset because I can do it in here. So I will game in this headset. Absolutely. That will hold me, I think. And I have already seen some of the flat to VR community working on getting Steam VR working in this headset.
Dude,
If
that won't
that
take them
becomes-
long. It won't take them long.
If that becomes a viable thing where I don't have to bend over backwards to make it work, I won't use anything else but this headset.
I retweeted someone that already got an early version working on ALVR, Steam VR with this headset. So yeah, those nerds, those nerds are figuring it out.
do you think
God
Apple will
bless 'em.
continue to patch that away?
It depends.
Honestly, no.
The only reason I think they would is if it took money away from them. If
Yeah.
it doesn't affect,
Yeah.
that's the only way. That's the only reason anyone ever gets stopped doing anything, is because the funds are going the wrong way. So Brad, sorry, you were saying, man.
No, yeah, so like they've actually been kind of opening up their store recently. Like they just allowed cloud gaming apps to now be uploaded to the App Store on iPhone and all those platforms. The Steam Link app, not the VR version we know on Quest, but like the regular Steam Link app already is on iPad, and you can actually run it on your Vision OS to stream flat games to the headset. So I think they've been pretty accommodating, more so as long as like, hey, they're making money on hardware, right? Like they don't.
Have you
know,
tried that
that kind
yet?
of puts them in a. The
Have you
Steam
tried
Link,
the Steam Link? Yeah, with like a controller. or
yeah,
something?
yeah, it works. It works exactly as you expect. Totally. I've been
So you
sadly
could totally
playing
play
desktop
Palworld on it
version.
right now.
Absolutely, easily. Yep.
Bluebell asked me a question.
Now.
I know, right? Bluebell asked me a question. For flat gaming, would I rather do it on my PlayStation VR 2 or the Apple Vision Pro? And that for me, and I really like the PlayStation VR 2 headset. It's not even close. Like, as whatever people have said about the weight of this headset, this is extremely comfortable compared to the PlayStation VR 2 headset. And then the lenses are even better. Like the OLED lenses here are even better than those OLED lenses in that headset. Like literally, the PlayStation VR 2 headset I can wear for a period of time, and I'm okay with it. But after a while, it really starts to hurt my face. It's just not a comfortable. The facial interface is terrible on that headset. That gasket that I don't know what you even call it. That it's like a soft rubber gasket, face gasket. It's
Yeah.
terrible. And it bothers me. But I've been in this thing now for an hour and 36 minutes. And then we've been on. I haven't had a comfort issue yet.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said right from the beginning with PSVR 2 that I think it might not age very well, because of some of the choices. But I mean, with dynamic favorite rendering and eye tracking technology wise, like the games will still look good. Luckily, I mean, I don't know what, if that headset didn't have eye tracking, I don't know what would happen. But yeah, luckily the games still look really good. So Lex Jerusalem says, do you all think Apple are going to make a controller at any point? Like, do you think they're ever going to consider, like, just in your opinion, it's a hypothetical question. Do you think they're ever going to go down that route?
I think the only controller they might make would be like a stylus type thing to do very enterprise or productive things rather than actual gaming controllers. That's what I would put my money on personally.
Okay. Say you could. Oh, sorry, Steve.
I mean, I think that maybe Gen 3 or Gen 4 of this thing if they have to listen to people going, "Oh, I just want to play my VR,"
Well, that's what
game,"
happened with
that
iPhone 3.
eventually- Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they will, right? Like they didn't want to make a stylus for the iPhone, but by version whatever, they did, right? They have the Apple Pen. So it just depends. If people continue to say this is what I want, eventually I think they'll get it, but I don't think it's going to be on Gen 1 at all.
Yeah, as you said, maybe not even Gen 2.
Right.
Let's say, for example, we was talking about persistence earlier. Say, for example, Steam VR works and you can play VR games in
Yeah.
it. Will the
Yeah.
persistence be nauseating as it is for some people on PSVR 2? Because you've mentioned it a few times about persistence, Brad,
Yeah.
especially. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think a chat member might possibly would be spot on that it's not nauseating because of the use case that they're targeting right now. And I do kind of worry that if you did like a full immersive VR game, it possibly could be a worse scenario. So yeah, maybe.
A couple more questions before we go. From James, how long before Apple caves and makes some sort of physical handheld controller? We've kind of had that already. Hiatus engineer question. Do you think occlusion beyond the hands is still being worked on? For example, do you think windows in other rooms will be eventually occluded?
Hmm.
I don't know what that means.
I'm not too sure what that
So
means.
they mean
I
like
think
if you
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
oh sorry. If you go to like down like for example, I can literally go downstairs and like I see the virtual windows from a totally different room still floating where my room is instead of like
Oh,
it
okay.
being blocked off by the walls. So yeah, I hope one day they do that and that would kind of add immersion. You can like constantly place stuff forever like paintings on a wall would be pretty nice.
Is
Maybe
there
they'll add it. I go ahead.
I was going to say, is there any talk? One of the really cool things that I know Meta showed was spatial anchors. Like the idea of being able to have something permanently in your space becoming whatever you wanted it to be, for example. Is there any talk of this? Like on Apple, spatial anchors, like, stuff that is in not real, but stays in your reality permanently?
I've seen I'm pretty sure I saw some development documentation about shared anchors already. So I think it is something that's supported by the SDKs and stuff. I haven't seen an app actually use it yet. So yeah.
Cool. And I've got one last question before we go. What would you guys like to see happen with Apple Vision Pro that hasn't happened yet? An app, a game, like what would be the thing that when you're in this, you're like, do you know what'd be really cool? Like, have you had that moment?
You go first, Brad.
Just in case Apple's watching, because I know they
I have
are.
a few. One, I want to be able to attach these windows to my face, like just have them attached to my face or my wrist as well. So when I'm walking around, in
Oh,
maybe in
okay.
public or
That's
something,
cool.
they just stay there, and I don't have to hold them with because you can still walk with them, and they actually support walking. This headset supports walking far distances, actually, surprisingly, without like it turning you off or like I think Apple's taken the route where it might be dangerous to just like black you out when you're walking around places than just like letting you see where you're going. But yeah, I would love to be able to just have it on my face. So I'm just watching a video. I have my arms crossed, walking around, and that'd be nice. Same for my wrist. Again, I really want them to be able to like attach stuff to my wrist, arms, since they're already doing like that arm tracking. Now I am wearing a watch and I can see the time on my watch, but like it'd be cool if I can start attaching like actual widgets to my real life arm.
You mean
That needs to
like
be
when
something
we
I
when
can
we used
do.
to do the streaming thing, like you flip it over and your chat appears? Yeah.
That needs to be something that is supported. And finally, I just want VR chat on the headset. That's it.
Yeah. Nice.
Nice.
What about you, Eric?
I'm just trying to think about it just really quick. I mean, I haven't had a ton that I was like, oh, I have to have this or I have to have that. I mean, we all know the regulars. I want gaming on here in some way. So I want, and not their Apple Arcade, by the way, which is not good. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, well, let's get Apple Arcade. It's garbage. That Apple Arcade is like, I don't know. It's like mobile games, and I hate mobile games. I want real games. But I want more of the mixed reality experiences though. Like I want like like Demio. You can play Demio on here, and I know they're not done with it yet, but it's not Demio. It's basically you looking into you looking at a flat board game through a window. It's not
Yeah,
quite
it's currently
pretty.
the iPad version, but
Yeah,
because they're not
exactly.
done, the full one is coming though. It is coming.
But yeah, I want more mixed reality stuff. Want more of this dinosaur stuff that they have. I want, stuff like that. I don't know what's not here yet, to be honest with you, to say that I can even say I don't want to say something and then find out tomorrow that it's there. Literally, there are hundreds of apps on here that I have not had a chance to work with that. I didn't realize that I could do this in Zoom until I got in here right now and we could do this. So there's a lot of things
Yeah.
that we're gonna find out, probably. That's why it's like it's so weird for me that like people wanting to jam out their reviews of this thing already. Like literally,
No,
if you haven't
yeah.
had 2 weeks with this thing yet, which that doesn't even seem like enough time to me, but if you haven't had 2 to 3 weeks with this thing yet, you're doing a service to everybody if you're going to come out and say this is this isn't this or it's not that. Like I literally cannot tell you yet what this headset is going to mean for me. I probably need 3 weeks. Like that's why I just wanted to do an unboxing video and just have it that, and I just want to be an unboxing video, and then I'll put something out more concrete when I feel like it. And if it's about comfort or like that, but I mean, to tell you, what should be in this headset or what's not, I don't even know yet.
Mate, fantastic. There we go. Thank you for answering. Someone asked, why can't I rewind the stream? I'll tell you why. Because the amount of times that people are caught up talking to the live chat about part of the stream that was an hour ago sometimes just confuses things. So it's just live. So anyone who's watching it is all at the same time. But obviously, when we finish the stream, you can go back and rewind it. And I'd appreciate that. Thank you for watching.
I got a couple
Sorry?
I got a couple of things.
Yeah,
since talk about since we're wearing it.
What would happen if you ate a lolly now? What would happen? Would it just nothing would happen?
It'd look like I'm smoking a joint.
Have you got a lolly you can put in your mouth or anything?
A lolly? No.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, go on. Sorry. Please continue.
We've been wearing this thing for almost 2 hours straight now. Heat is like I was just feeling a little while ago. It just doesn't. There's a little bit of heat here, not almost nothing. Really. Venting like the fan, can't hear it in any way. I don't hear it right now in any way at all. Let's see what else. Comfort. I'm wearing just the regular. Brad, are you wearing your overhead strap that you worked from your big screen? Okay.
I am doing that.
I'm not uncomfortable right now. I'm starting to feel a little bit of weight on my cheeks right now at almost an hour and 50 minutes in. But I think if I had a top strap, that would kind of go away. No fogging inside this headset at all. Not that I'm actually doing anything physical, but I mean, even sometimes with a normal VR headset, you'll get a little bit of fogging. It is warm here right now, and like I'm under all these lights, so I am like kind of sweating a little bit. But no fogging here at all. I think they do a really good job with their venting system. Yeah,
I was going to say to you guys, one of the things that I noticed, especially in the original Quest and Quest 2, is the straps actually go through the center of the head. At the moment, everyone's doing either forehead, around the head, or over the middle. But earlier headsets literally wanted to give you a center parting. And I kind of understood it, because if you adjusted it, it literally pulled the whole thing up. Do you think like something like that would have benefited this headset maybe if you didn't mess up your hair? Like it fucks up your hair, that stuff. So yeah, like do you think that would have benefited at all? Like a center strap?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I do. I think so.
I just wonder why they didn't go. Oh, that was a question I've got as well. Do apologize. The pro part. We spoke about this last week, Brad, on Thursday. How do you feel about the pro part of the name? Like, why is it the Apple Vision Pro? Why is it that? What is the reasoning? Is there any idea why?
Go to 35.
No, it's definitely like I think they are going to go with the 2-tier line of products. Like there's gonna be the pro line, and there's gonna be like a cheaper line that doesn't pack everything, but will pack whatever features of the pro line had before it. I mean, I think that's really it. I think people will get a lot of these features in like a more consumer friendly package. Maybe not every feature, and maybe like a slightly lower resolution, but the bar is really high. The software is amazing, and I think Apple will be able to scale down the price a lot faster than people think it would. They would be able to. So yeah.
Wow. When do you think we'll see a second generation? You think within 2 years? A year?
So the industry is expecting that late 2025 we'll get the first cheaper model, like the non-pro model. And then in 2027 we'll get the Vision Pro 2. Like again, another kitchen sink, improving everything that we're experiencing right now. And then they'll just keep iterating, bringing that price down, bringing it to the consumer model, and yeah, working its way down instead of up, which I think is the right way to go for a company like Apple.
I'll tell you. So let's. This should be quite an easy question to answer, actually, depending on how much you've used it. So the Quest 3 Lite, which has been rumored, is going to be a Quest 3 as you know it, with no controllers. Maybe something else taken out of it. I don't know what, but let's just imagine it is just a Quest 3 with no controllers, and it comes in at $399 for the highest storage model. $299 to $399, for example. They really want to smash the price down. Would you, either one of you, recommend that headset, like, for a mixed reality experience or gaming at that price? Now you've experienced Apple Vision Pro.
Yes, definitely. I think the Apple Vision Pro will probably help sell more headsets for Meta because it's affordable at least. This isn't there yet. Like this is $3,500 to $4,000, which again, $3,500 is your entry, by the way. This is $4,400 if you're getting a 1 terabyte with a case. $4,400.
Yeah.
So let's say 3,500.
Have you got the fancy Mariah Carey case thing?
I do. Brad, did you get
Fucking hell, when I saw
do.
that.
I did get it. Yeah.
It looks amazing. Like I saw iJustine was like, I could sleep on this thing. I was like, that is actually a really good idea.
Have you tried it as a pillow? It looks like a pillow.
You could. You could sleep on this thing.
What about you?
I think one will have nothing to do with the other, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Brad?
I vehemently hate the idea of just low priced XR hardware. It's everything I stand against. I think even this headset I'm wearing is $3,500, amazing hardware and software experience, but we still need so much more to break into that mainstream adoption thing. And I don't think a Quest Lite is going to do it. I don't think it's going to do it. Yeah, I think the Quest line is good for like the gaming console thing, but like this whole computing thing, it's going to take Meta an extremely long time to catch up to this. So yeah.
I wonder how long. Do we know how long Apple have been working on the Vision Pro?
Like almost 10 years.
Crazy.
Fucking hell.
Crazy.
10 years.
we were talking about this on season 1 of Between Realities. We were talking about this headset.
Wow, how many years ago is that?
3.5.
Yeah.
3.5 years,
Yeah.
man.
Do you know what makes you think though? Like, I think Apple just being in the space will make heads turn anyway. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
everyone is eyes on. Like, I've got my friends ringing me today, asking if I've got one and can they try it, stuff like that. Like, you know, my friends are like, dude, there's people fucking walking around like in The Simpsons wearing these headsets, blah, blah, blah. Like they're losing their shit. Actually, Skiba heard a conversation earlier before we went live about my friend who's so excited to try this headset. He'll probably never buy it, but he wants to try it. So yeah, like we can all agree that this happening, regardless of the cost, is positive. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
I really do think that Quest Lite will be like the last headset of that. Like, I really do think hardware and XR will like start pushing the price boundary up. I think like Quest Lite will be the only example of this. I don't see any VR or AR headset to release after that will ever try to match even Quest 3 or Quest 2.
I was just going to say,
pricing.
like, Quest 2 was ridiculously low. And I think Quest 3, obviously, that's gone up. And what happens is generations see price points. Like, they're like, well, that's expensive. but it's only expensive because of something you thought you were getting was previously priced at, and you don't care about the undercut. You don't care about that they're losing so much money to give you that price. And as far as I know, with Apple Vision Pro, they're not losing money on these headsets. Like they're charging what they're worth roughly. So yeah, I mean, maybe that will bring rising costs to hardware, but better hardware.
Well,
So, because I think everyone said they would have wished Quest 3 had eye tracking.
Apple's trying to get away from people calling this a VR headset, and here's the reason why. People expect a certain price point from a headset, and they expect it to do certain things. They expect that it's a gaming machine. They expect all those things. But when I've been reading a lot of comments on when people are saying about this, and I don't think people are quite understanding that this is a computer, right? People are saying, "Oh, I'd never pay $3,500 for that," but then they would go out and spend $3,500 on a MacBook, which doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I mean, obviously, a MacBook can do a lot more at this point in time, but the point here is this is a computer on your face. This isn't a Qualcomm Snapdragon. This is a full, it's M2, right? It's an M2 chip in this thing, and an R1 to handle all the tracking and stuff, right? This is like a full laptop chipset. I believe if you go on to apple.com and you get the highest spec iPad, it's gonna come pretty close to this, right?
Really?
So,
wow, I did not know that, man.
Yeah, I mean, so it kind of makes sense. The problem is people are thinking of this as a really expensive Quest, but it's not. It's a computer, and we will spend $3,500 on a computer and not think about it. But that's
the thing. Like when we talk about
yeah.
gaming, I don't think people's buying this to even think about having games on it. I don't think that's the point. Like when I go Friday to Mike's, the last thing I'm personally thinking about is playing a video game. It's just not what that hasn't entered my head.
No, especially in the beginning. There's so much other cool shit to do right now that we normally don't get a chance to do. Like for me, again, I am more of a gamer than anything else, but I haven't even thought about doing any kind of gaming yet, other than to say I want to get Steam in here. But I haven't really thought about doing anything yet because there's so many other things I can do like that I normally can't do with any other headset. So why would I even think about gaming right now? For me, I have hundreds of apps and things I can try right now that I can't do with my Quest 3 or my Pro or any other headset that I have. So it hasn't even been a thought yet. No, it will. I've been thinking about getting Steam on here and trying out some flat gaming, in here with a controller. But I haven't really thought about VR yet.
Man, there's a lot of people in chat saying people wouldn't buy a $3,000 laptop. I don't think you understand the type of people that buy Apple laptops. I have watched a million people from all of the different jobs. So I am also, here's a little bit of a fun fact for you. I am an Apple certified technician. I don't know if you knew that, but like I have seen so many people go and spend $3,000-$4,000 on a MacBook. No problem. It's a work expense. They write it off. This is a tool for their productivity, for them to make money, and for them to have it's their livelihood.
Yeah, it's what you just said. You said it right the first time. It's to increase productivity. That's why you buy these for art stations, whatever you're doing, to even render 4K, 8K movies. People go, right, I need the best stuff to get this to even happen at a reasonable time. When you use post-processing and stuff. Like literally the other day for the first time, I thought to myself, I'll use 2 times enhancement post-processing on a video, which videos normally take 7 to 8 minutes, maybe it depended on the size of them, but roughly about that. I put in post-processing with DaVinci Resolve and it went up to 45 minutes. And I was just like, that's because I've got a shit CPU. Do you know what I mean? And my GPU is, it's a 3080 Ti. All right, it's good, but I've not got an amazing PC. I'm getting what I've kind of, what I expect. Man, Bear, Pig, Game Cat, how you doing, dude? $2 donation, thank you ever so much. Does the tech of the headset justify the price tag? And I think we kind of went over this, but I think we could sign off with this. Like, I think you're going to have 2 different takes here. So, yeah, maybe.
I think what's in here is definitely worth the price. Whether that is value to you as a person is a different question. But like what the tech that is in here is worth $3,500. I mean, there's a lot of shit in this headset that you cannot get normally. So if you start adding all the things up that this headset does, is it, is it worth the money of $3,500? Yes. Does that mean it's $3,500 worth of value to the individual? That's on an individual basis. That's a different question. So I think value wise, I think this is worth what's in it.
I seriously think that only my imagination and the fact I've been in like something like the Vario, whatever it was, and seen that pass through and those lenses and stuff, like that was crazy surreal. I think people's expectations stay very limited to what they've experienced as what they think is the best. So, like for example, I know a lot of people that say to me something like, for example, Quest 3 and PSVR 2. They'll say to me, there's no way that the Quest 3 looks better than the PSVR 2. And they're right and they're wrong. Like, it literally depends on what we're talking about. Some games, like for Red Matter 2, even though, for example, the Quest 3's got a lower pixel count, the pancake lenses make all the difference. And suddenly the game looks insane on a mobile chip. So there's just lots of things. And I can only imagine that this Apple Vision Pro takes your expectations now to a whole new level, like of what is possible, what you can see in VR and AR, That's what
Well said. Well said.
I just think it must be amazing. I can't wait to witness it myself. I've got even though someone asked have I got FOMO, I've got FOMO because I love virtual reality. Like, this is my life now. And I might not be like, admittedly, I am gaming. I love video games. I'm fucking obsessed with video games, to be fair. But this is I feel like an idiot for not taking part in history and being alive to see it. Because I do believe that this happening right now is a real change. It's a point in history of when things changed for everyone. And I know it doesn't seem it, because at the moment you've got a guy running down the street on a skateboard, you've got iJustine jumping in a swimming pool, like you've got this bullshit to contend with, but it gets eyes on the product. So I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong, whatever. Fuck it, I love it personally, but there's a serious side to it, and that's what I'm looking forward to, because everything gets better. Everything gets better. And at some point, there was a point in VR, and I don't care what anyone says about Quest holding VR back, that is absolutely not true. It really kept it going. Certain things had to happen, and now we're at a point where, like, wow, Apple have just released a fucking at the top, the best headset in the world, one of the best bits of tech in the world. And if you can't afford it, you might want it, and that's a massive part of this. So yeah, just feel like an idiot, really.
Hallelujah, man.
I just feel like an idiot. I just feel like an idiot for not doing it,
But can you imagine though what you would have to go? I mean, look what Mike had to go through to get it. I mean, I get why you didn't do it. I mean, that's like huge. I mean, you'd have to fly to North America to be able to get one, and then buy one, and for, as we said, starting at $3,500, and then fly back.
Yeah, but right now, like literally 2 days ago, I had a regret. 2 days ago, I decided, like, no, this would have been worth it for me, I think. But
oh wow,
it is what it is. It is what it is. Because I just care about it so much. I do. I care about everything about this industry, and I just think to myself, like, dude, you've literally put 5 years, 6 years of your life, a massive portion of my life and time is in this, and you've just skipped one of the most amazing things to happen in it. And yeah, so I know I'm going to do it Friday. I'm going to do it Friday. It's fine. I'm going to have some chicken. Yeah, I'm going to amaze it. I'm hopefully going to Mike's going to help me probably make a little video of my first impressions. That's cool. But still, that's how I feel about this. And, fair play to you boys, for doing this. You're spending a lot of money here. Like you said, Mash, you're putting this money down probably partially, obviously, for yourself, so you're interested, but more because you want to spread the word of it. Like, that's why we do this, is because you want to tell people about it. And it's an investment, you're invested in the future of VR, man. So
Yeah, and like what I said earlier, that scene of that older gentleman, you know, in the wheelchair using this headset that first morning, that will stay with me forever. Like, and for me to be able to be a part of that, and you know, and do that thing, you know, that day, be part of that, whatever this is moving forward. Yeah, I mean, it was. I'm super honored to be able to do that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and I want to show it off to people and let people know what it is. But uh, you know what's great about this is I'm not an Apple fanboy, so I will let you know like, what I feel like. I don't have an iPhone, I don't have an iPad. I just want good technology and virtual reality and I've had my fair share of crappy headsets that I put on that I've had to like come out and give bad reviews for.
Yeah.
Even though I thought, even if I said the wrong thing, it may hurt the industry, but I've had to say those things because that's the
Yeah.
truth, right? That's what I'm going to say here. I'm not going to tell everybody that they should go buy this headset, but I will tell you absolutely everything about it, the good and the bad. And currently, right now, the good is way outweighing any bad there is.
Yeah. What about you, Brad? Like, how do you feel being part of this? You know, like I said, when I'm saying like my
Yeah.
thing about how I feel about it, I see you nodding. Like, but how does it feel for you? Because obviously, I mean, you've been doing this technically longer than I have. Like, I know it didn't seem like a big deal to play Job Simulator and just do what you did, but
Yeah.
that's obviously that passion and that thing has been there, like the obsession with this technology. How does it feel to be part of this?
It feels nice. It also feels like this was a make or break thing for me personally. Not like I was very nervous. Like I mean, obviously I was very hyped for this device, right? I think you all kind of noticed that leading up to it. And like at the same time, I was so nervous they were gonna not nail certain things that I was hoping that they would nail. And if they didn't, I kind of saw a future where maybe I just stopped doing this XR thing, like genuinely.
Wow.
Um,
No, he's. Do you know
yeah,
what? I'm sorry to interrupt, but someone said that on Twitter, and I never thought about it. Someone said, "What if they fail?"
yeah,
And I kind of
it would
thought,
have.
"Wow, yeah,
No, I mean, I feel lucky that I feel lucky this device aligns with what I felt this industry should have been heading toward, and it's working out. At least for my own selfish desires, it's coming to life for me. And while that might not mean anything for like the mass market or anything, it still just feels it just really made me happy. Like again, I feel really happy right now, and it's been a very long time that something that's come out in this industry has done that to me. So yeah,
yeah." I think when I think we've been doing this show quite a long time now. I think so. I think we went through the pro time. We've done the
yeah,
PSVR 2, obviously Quest 3. And I think you've always fought to find positives. You know, like big screen, I think, was the only thing in our time that you went, I love this thing. Like, I'm living this thing. This is, so
yeah.
what about I mean, and you are like, I don't go back. You don't go back very often. Like that's kind of your thing. So, I mean, where does big screen sit? I mean, big screen's there, I guess, for now. Your VR gaming, I guess, and social stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, big screen is when I want to be in VR chat. That's it. But everything else is probably gonna be in this headset. Not even just VR stuff, but again, like I might I'm very sure I'm gonna sell my monitor, like, and never use a flat screen again. Like
Fuck,
that's where I'm at.
that's crazy.
I could say that
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll ever watch a movie flat ever again, like on on a regular monitor, like or even like things like just go watch a YouTube and watch some content on YouTube. I would much rather do it like this
Do you
than
know? Do you know what I think you need to do, Eric? If I was you, I think you need to set yourself a challenge. Obviously, hopefully, you can look ahead at the week and go, right, I've got this to do this week, and plan yourself, challenge yourself to try and do everything. I mean, that'd be a good video to try
yeah.
and do everything in that headset somehow.
Ooh, that would be good.
That would be good. That'd be a really good because I think as I said, Brad's so forward thinking. I think he already had some of these processes worked out. Like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I need to do that. I need to do this. Like but for you, I think you might take every day as it comes, and you're very busy, so you're just cracking on. But I think that would be a really good challenge and a really good video.
I think it really would, because I think that would be a true test of actually being able to. Because like I think if you already had your mindset that you're going to work in this headset, it's probably easier to make those things happen. And for me, I didn't. I mean, I knew I was going to try it, but whether it was going to be viable or not, I didn't have that preconception. So I think me trying that out to see if it can actually work and see if it sticks, I think would be great.
Yeah. How you feeling, Skib? You got some FOMO?
Yeah, I mean, man, I'm not gonna last being a hold on this. Right? It's tough, right? Because ultimately 3,500 to $4,500 is a ton of money, right? You can buy a brand new PC with a 4090 to run all kinds of crazy games and graphics. You can buy, I could buy multiple Deckards and extra sets of controllers and like all of this stuff. But at the same time, this headset is a big deal. And I've always wanted a future where I do not have to travel with my laptop. I don't want to bring a Quest and a laptop and all this stuff with me. If I can bring a headset somewhere and a keyboard and a mouse, and that's my workstation, that's what I want, man. That's the ultimate dream. Like, do I want to watch movies by myself? No, I don't. There not being multiplayer to watch movies in here is a bummer for sure. But the productivity, being a computer, man, it's going to be hard for me to not dive into this thing. So we'll see how long I last. I'm going to go for my Apple Store demo, and then
Dude,
I
I
know.
think you'll fucking buy one. I think 100%. I think you'll
See
do
if
that demo.
Alex can kick me when I pull.
I
out my
wouldn't
credit
take Alex, because he'd be like he'd be like letting off a firework in that store.
Yeah.
Like, he would be bouncing
Yeah.
off the walls. I would
card. Oh yeah,
not.
it's gonna be great. Me and him are both. Yeah. This week it's gonna be a good time.
It's quite
So.
interesting. I'm seeing the comments about, and because of what Eric said, watching a movie. I don't think I want to watch a movie in any other way. Blah blah blah. And that is, you have to watch a film on your own if you're in a headset. That's true. But I'm betting the people saying that haven't been in big screen. So, for example, and you are,
screen, you play together.
you can play. Yeah, you'd be, instead of sitting on the sofa watching a film together, you could be in a giant cinema or in space together in real time watching a film together. I'm not, in no way am I saying that's what we should do. Like, I'm just saying, but you can, and I've done that. I've been in big screen and I've watched films with people, and one of the best things in the world, like, I'll never forget, one of my favorite films from being a kid was the original Transformers movie. I think it's got an amazing soundtrack, like the animation one from the 80s, 1985 actually. And I mentioned it on stream one day while doing a charity stream. It's my favorite film, and there was like 8 people. They're like, "I do, like, I love that film," and I was like, "Why don't we all watch it together?" And we did. Like, these people I'd never met, like, I didn't really know. We all sat in a cinema and watched Transformers the movie together, and it felt so good to be able to share, like, or share with them, like, how much we love this film. That was cool. Just saying.
Yeah, one of my best friends moved across the country, and when a show that we loved came out, we got to go in there and watch it together and pause it and bullshit about the show and like have a good time and and sharing that together and feel like we were there and experiencing that thing together, even though he was in the other side of the country. It's very, very powerful. Spatial computing and VR and XR just takes all of that space and throws it away. It makes it so it doesn't exist anymore, and you can connect genuinely with people that you care about and really like keep those bonds and keep that relationship going. And it's really, really important. It's important to me and important to a lot of people in this industry. So it's a beautiful thing, man.
I can see in the chat, like, people are like, but everyone has to own a headset. But there will be a point when, like, the Apple's vision or AR's vision is everyone has a phone, everyone has a headset. Like, that's kind of what they want. And I know it sounds bonkers at the moment, but there will be a point at a time when these are a pair of glasses, for example, or something like that. It won't. Yeah, I guess you're guessing. Like, you are guessing what the future is going to be, but you just look at where they are now and the basics of what they have. It's pretty wild. Like,
yeah. Look back at the Apple IIe or look back at the Apple Lisa or something, right? And then imagine telling someone that you're going to be able to fit a computer in your pocket that's like a trillion times more powerful than that, and they're all going to be going, dude, you're insane. That's
Yeah.
not, you're not living in reality. You know what I mean? But here we are.
I
Here we
still
are.
think about
Everyone has one.
I still think about Knight Rider when he used to talk to his watch. Like, I can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just saying, that's crazy.
I set this whole thing up by telling the headset what to do, by the way.
Yep.
I mean, because I couldn't figure out how to get in here, and Ski was like, just tell Siri. And literally, I had Siri open Zoom for me, and I had Siri do this. And
Yeah, that's
I
mental.
didn't end up doing anything. But you know what it is for me? And like, I know that a lot of people want to watch things together or with family members, but to be honest with you, I don't consume media right now. Like, and I haven't for years because I'm so busy and doing what I'm doing. And I lost my love for doing like movies and things like that. So because of virtual reality, like I prefer to do everything I can in the headset. Like I just don't enjoy watching a movie in front of the TV anymore. So like me and my wife, we don't watch TV together. Number one, we don't really watch TV. If we're not doing, if we're together, we're usually either on our phones, hanging out, talking about things. We just don't do that together. Like we don't watch. I don't watch normal TV. I haven't watched a movie in years, and outside of a VR headset. So for me, that media is kind of dead to me flat. So, doing this now in this headset, it's just another thing for me to be able to enjoy. Like, I don't know. I'd rather do this. If I'm going to get back and watch movies again, I'll watch it in this headset. Like,
That's weird for me. I love the idea of sitting down and watching a film with my family. Like, I love that. Like, that's one of my favorite things, going to the cinema. So it's a big deal for me. So that's why when I saw it in the chat, I was like, yeah, I get that. But yeah, I mean, admittedly, if I just spoke about like every day of the week, like every day of the week, I would go downstairs, they would watch something that I'm like, I've got no interest in this. This is not for me. And I'll be straight back upstairs again, like doing work or recording or whatever. But just to take it back to VR gaming for a second, today I played Contractor Showdown, and I think it's better than actual Call of Duty Warzone. And I know it sounds a massive statement, but
Wow.
this game is fucking phenomenal. They put so much effort into this. There's so much thought in it. There's I put it in my video. There's like everything you can think of. And I had an absolutely fantastic time. It can support, I think, like 45 players or more online. It's cross-platform. It looks great. The weapon skins are actually fantastic. Like, they actually look really good. Everything's nearly some sort of upgradable while you're in game. It's absolutely awesome. So, yeah, definitely try and check that out. And I think that's a good time to end the show. Thank you ever so much to Brad and Eric for doing the Persona thing today. I think it's really made the show different, and very interesting. And I'll be looking forward to see if you guys do actually go to like meetings and stuff in this way, just to see people's reactions,
I think it would be cool. I definitely think I will I'm going to use this Persona thing. I like it a lot.
Yeah, cool. And Skiba, thank you ever so much, man. Let us know when these Between Realities back on. When is this happening? Like
Friday.
Friday. So make sure you check that out.
Yep, Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific right now. Moving next month back to 2 o'clock. But yeah, right now, every Friday you can check it out. Yeah, come on by. Pop in a live chat. We'd love to see you guys there.
Yeah, man. So make sure you check out Between Realities. Make sure you check out QTC YouTube channel, because he's going to be dropping his video soon. And I'm sure, hopefully, most of you watch Sadly It's Bradley, because he's absolutely awesome. And yeah.
Bradley, you go watch Gladly.
I've never watched Gladly's channel. Like, what's actually on there? Was it what I said it'd be, Brad? Like a bit of a, yeah, I'll do that, but I'll never do anything on it, or?
No, I will be posting some stuff this week on it.
Happy
for example.
stuff.
Yeah. Just random, basically what I like to call low effort, like, yeah. Just little recordings I might do on my headset or what I do, and like nothing that requires too much editing or a lot of thought.
Got it.
Because some people care about that for some reason. So yeah.
Some people care. Yeah, I actually made a mistake in my video today. 8 seconds of audio overlapped, and it really pissed me off. Like little things like that. I was like, it was a very quick turnaround, and I made one mistake, but I just couldn't. Like, I've still not accepted that I made the mistake. But anyway, thank you guys. Really appreciate you all for being here. Make sure you have a great week. Do something really cool in VR, and we'll see you all next Monday. Take care. Thank you, and bye-bye. Bye-bye. Look, they're waving. The personas are waving.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.